Hello everyone. Anthropic launched a couple of hours ago Cloud 4.8. And if you are inside this space and you use these kind of tools, you will probably notice that people have a better opinion on GPT 5.5 than properly Opus 4.7. So everyone was a little bit excited to see what Claude could bring to the table and see if it could bring a better model to compete with the GPT models. And if we take a look only at the benchmarks, they look pretty decent actually. But as we know here, benchmarks are probably worth nothing. But yeah, the benchmarks are very benchmarky. And so to try and see how the model improved, I did a very simple test. I asked him to build two identical websites, one for a finance company and another for a landing page an artist. So I tried to make it two completely different styles to see how he will behave. Because again, if you are in the space, you know that Claude is really good at front end engineering, and GPT is not that great at it. It will probably be better in the future, but as of now, Opus is really better. So yeah, so let's see how the results went. Before we start, this is a very simple test. It probably won't show how much better the model is because you have a lot of different things like reasoning, etc. But it's probably an interesting take. So on the right, we have Opus 7 and on the left, we have Opus 8. Let's start by the accounting firm website and by the era section. As you can see, they both opted for text on the left and an image on the right. And let's start analyzing the small bits. So Opus 8 decided to do this cleaner subtext, while Opus 7 decided to use this awful pill at the top. And pills work, but I don't think in this case they work. The fonts are similar. They are not much different. I think these are some more serif. So Opus 7 has slightly more serif than Opus 8 decided. But yeah, but this text has some. And the other big difference is the thing that they chose to put on the right. I'm actually not sure about how these grid designs, I don't know if they are overused, but if we compare the two, I like that he tried to do like an invoice. So this is a demo for the invoice, but we have these very noisy separators inside the fake invoice. So I like the idea, but I don't think that he did a very good implementation. And this, despite me not being sure of liking or not liking the grid design, so this one, it's well made. You can see that the elements are balanced and the nav bar is the same for both. So let's go into the next section. So we have this what we do section to give more information on the business. And once again, Opus 7 did the grid design. And I mean, this can work. It's not that it's bad, but I'm just not sure if it's overused. And we could say the same about cards, but I think that these cards have really good taste. They are well done. The animations are simple. And overall, I think that Opus 8 actually took the win here. Then we have like a process description. They are very similar. Only thing that changes is this. So they have extra text at the top. Overall, the design is very similar. Opus 4.7, I think he likes to do this a lot. So number dash text. I don't know if this is training thing, but maybe it is. And for the next section, they are also very similar. I think I like the more minimalist complexity of this one. So there is no hard borders. It's meant to be a table, but it doesn't look like a table. But we have this card view that I'm not sure if we could avoid. But yeah, overall they're very similar. I think I like this shape more. Not sure about the card view. And I like that he made the separators dotted, because sometimes these models go a lot into separators. They put separators into everything, and separators most of the time don't look good. What I mean by separators, it's these little lines between, for example, these two. So I think that the dotted one is actually better, which is surprisingly Opus 7. Then onto the pricing page. The pricing page, I think the clear winner is Opus 8. This is very heavy, and he puts the most picked or most popular in the pill inside the card, which gives it a weird look. So you would expect to see more of this kind of cards, but I like, and maybe this is my taste, that he chose to invert the colors for the most picked. So he chose the darker variant of the card, which I think could work, but maybe this design is better and more reliable. So we have these client stories, which is supposed to be like a testimony section, and I don't know, these cards are just, they're not it. And I think that this editorial look that they gave to the cards is really, really, really interesting. So it's interesting because I'm doing this comparison, but these models are not that different, at least from what I gathered from the small pieces of knowledge that I was able to read. But maybe on the long term, we will be able to prompt it better to make better results. And finally, the footer. I really like the opposite footer. I think it's really clean. I like that they went for the negative once again, so the darker color, and they just went full for the last section and the footer. So it's really nice. So now we have different pages in here, so let's see them. So they are very similar once again. They changed the text a little bit. And once again, the separators kill me sometimes. I always ask myself, can we remove the separators? Are they really needed? And yeah, I like that they use these warmer tone behind this section, but I think that the text here reads a little bit cleaner. And for the main content, I think I like 4.8 the best. Once again, maybe we could, in a second iteration, ask him to remove the separator, but I think it's slightly better because he tries and do separators inside separators. Yeah, it looks kind of weird. So the pricing we already saw. This is a page dedicated to the pricing. We also have this table that they use. I really like tables that don't have outside borders. I find them cool. But I think that the one done by 4.8, despite being a full table, looks kind of better. I also like this lighter green on the starting price, so to make it pop up. So yeah, so I don't know if I think it's fair to say that choosing between these two would be something more of a stylistic choice. But one thing that you can see is this. So he gives very little space between the areas. And here they have way cleaner spacing. It looks like the same for both areas. Yeah, now we have the about page. About page looks similar. There's some very interesting choices by 4.7, and they seem to have different sections. But yeah, 4.8, I like this. I really like these sections on websites. So key data behind the accenty tone. This is overused. I don't think I like it. Once again, grid sections, but they both seem to do it. And then they have the team section. And I don't know if, like I said, we are so used to seeing cards, and cards being the go-to for AIs. I think that once again, 4.7 does a better choice with the cards that he uses, because the cards supposedly will be the images and the text stays beneath it. And I think it just looks cleaner, trying to put everything inside a card. I mean, sometimes it's not that, it doesn't look that good. And finally, the contacts. This is a form for both, so it looks really similar. I think that this would be more of how much information you want to do. But one thing that 4.7 is doing is, once again, the cards. Maybe these cards aren't necessary, and despite me not liking separators that much, I think that this looks cleaner for the form. Yeah, so this is the accounting website. Like we said at the start, this is not a very high level test to see which model is the best, and probably because these models are, well, they're very similar. So maybe it's unfair to try and nitpick the little style. So there was things that 4.7 did best, and there are things that 4.8 slightly improved that make the difference. I would say that because we have this mistake here, which this is not a style mistake, this is an error. So this is clearly wrong. This is not style. So the lack of spacing between these two sections, I would guess that 4.8 didn't do anything that serious. But yeah, like I said, this is a very small test, a very simple test, and we did another website. So let's go into it. This is supposed to be a site for a singer, an artist. I asked for this because accounting is normally more serious, while artists tend to have a different style. So 4.7 on the right and 4.8 on the left. And we can start by seeing that I like what 4.7 went for. Once again, 4.8 relied on the separator, which it's not really necessary, at least I think so. 4.7 has some very interesting elements because this is supposed to be a singer. So they put like this Spotify mimicking thing, which I like. Maybe it could be positioned in a different way, but I really like the idea. The CTA and the sub button and the text are the same. Only thing that 4.7 did was he added this small circle behind the new single, which I also see that a lot of models do, and sometimes it's really not necessary. But overall, I would say that they are very similar, just order things around differently. Then we have this section for 4.7. They put the out now, which is the latest release, and the new single. So these areas are similar. And yet the same way that I liked that he tried to copy or give a Spotify look to this, 4.8 also tried to do the same with this, which I think works better than the one that 4.7 did. It's also cleaner. The buttons are also cleaner. They are all in the same row. But as we can see, I think this proves that they are very similar, at least in training. And then here is how they chose to show the musics that these artist has. And once again, I think that the cards with the picture and the name below, number of tracks, etc., is really nice. Maybe this is specific tracks for a single album, while this has multiple albums. But I think that this approach it looks really good. And yeah, over relying on tables. I think that humans also really like visual, big images, colors in a proper amount. No, like we said on the buttons video, everything needs to be on the proper amount. And then we have a supposed video section. If you already understood from everything I said, I don't like separators. So this one doesn't have the separator because it's not needed. You can clearly see that these are two different things. So yeah, information wise, it's similar. I think that this one actually got an image to put here, while this one got it all in black. So yeah, so it made a mistake that you will probably need to prompt it again to try and fix it. And then we have tour dates. Yeah, we have tour dates here. They ended up choosing similar things. Only thing that changes is how the information is presented. I think that the overstates are slightly better on 4.7. These ones like snap. These ones are more slow to do the effect, which I think looks better to see. And then we have the section for the artist, which are very similar. I like this editorial section here. Looks really nice. And 4.7 tried to put a separator because he really needed to put one, which is interesting. I don't know if the lettering itself maybe the lettering here is more balanced. So this section here, he goes for title, then bold, then normal text. While here they use the text accent color to give some attention to the album name, it seems. I don't know, I think that I like the text better on this side. It looks way more balanced in my opinion. And yeah, finally the subscribe and footer section. I like that 4.7 put an image behind. It looks better, but I think that this one is, yeah, this one is better. It just looks way more balanced than this one. I'm only not sure about this under here, but I kind of like the clean footer. This one has a lot of things and has the separator, which is awful. So yeah, very interesting. In terms of tokens, for me to do these 4 websites, I spent around 7% of my weekly limit. I have the 20 plan. So yeah, so if you use Claude to do a lot of this work by producing small front-end websites, landing pages, more complex multi-pages websites, he can produce some interesting things, and it looks like it's around the same level of 4.7. So 4.8 and 4.7 look very similar, at least to design simple pages, because don't forget these are simple pages. So maybe on a more complex benchmark, he will do something really different, like a game. And yeah, I only wanted to talk about because 4.8 just came out today, and maybe this is interesting for you. And yeah, so if you liked it, be sure to tell me in the comments if you want me to do a more complex benchmark, maybe between 4.8 and 4.7, or if you just like this more analyzing AI UI with me. I like to use AI to like do the skeleton of landing pages and other products, because if we think about it, we as full stack engineers, we repeat a lot of work, and sometimes we not need to do the same nav bar like 10 times or do an arrow section 10 times, and maybe we can have AI build this really quick skeleton with all the pages that we need, and this saves us so much time, and then we can go there page by page, section by section, and fix small things that we don't like, and of course maybe try new things, try a couple of templates just to see if your ideas translate well to the client work, to what the client wants. And yeah, so like I said, use these tools. They are tools, they are meant to be used, but don't forget the basics. Don't forget to keep your brain moving. Don't forget to challenging yourself. Don't forget to code a little bit once in a while, because despite me not thinking that coding is the only thing that we do, it's also sometimes important to code a little bit, have that eye-hand coordination going on. So yeah, hope you like this kind of different video. If you didn't, just I will notice it. And yeah, have a nice day, guys. See you in the next dimension.